It's time for Around the Ozarks news, brought to you by the Springfield-Greene County Park Board, Blue Current, and Thompson Sales. Here are your hosts, Ethan and Sarah Foreheads.
Hey, good morning. Sarah Foreheads today, again with Diana Tyndall. Thank you so much, Diana, for filling in. Did you know that we're already to mid-January?
It is crazy to me. What happened to last year still? I mean, it flew by, seriously. And then January, I still haven't done my vision board. You guys.
That sounds really fancy. I like it.
Well, it's just a thing.
But I like it. Yeah. I know. I've heard of these and I think they're great. I've never done one, but I think it's great.
They're really fun to do. Even if you do them late.
Yeah. Even if it's January 15th, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Just get it done before the 31st. Okay.
Working on it.
Okay, here is a look at some news. Yeah, here we go. Remember us telling you about the string of ATM thefts? Well, not everybody has been caught, but at least some of them have. They had some pretty brazen criminals hitting different parts of the Ozarks and doing lots of damage. And now another guy is behind bars for his role in that. This one is specific to the ATM in Hermitage. The guy has been caught. It's a man from Kansas City, and he was just sentenced to 10 years for property damage, stealing, and tampering with a motor vehicle. Now, again, this is not everybody involved. We know one guy was already sentenced. This is number two. But there are some ATM theft people out there who have not yet been caught because they were not all connected. They were not all connected to the same group of thieves.
Well, I'm just glad they got one bad guy, one more bad guy off the streets.
I know. I mean, that is crazy, by the way, that they could pull that off, but they were going to rural areas where there's just not a lot of traffic, to see it in progress.
I think it's funny how you say rural. I say rural.
You're probably like accurate about that.
Emu.
There are some words that I should avoid, and rural is one of them.
See, it sounds like a rule. Okay, we'll move on. Speaking of naughty, a former sheriff is on the wrong side of the law. Former Dallas County Sheriff Scott Rice is in trouble for assaulting a FedEx driver. Investigators say the two hit each other's side mirrors in their cars last June. It happened while the sheriff was in his personal vehicle on a county road north of Buffalo. A camera on the FedEx truck showed the two arguing, then Rice grabbing the man's arm. Apparently, Rice's account of what happened did not match what was on the security video. Yikes.
All right. Yes. Okay. How about this? You might just be getting some COVID money after all. The IRS says some taxpayers never got a check. And if that's you, you're about to. They are distributing $2.4 billion.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know where the money comes from. I don't, but that's how much they're giving away. This is for taxpayers as a stimulus payment, again, for those who did not already get one a few years ago. So by the end of this month, 1 million Americans will receive up to $1,400 each from the IRS. They are mailing checks to taxpayers who failed to claim a recovery rebate credit on their 2021 tax returns. Now, this is people who filed the 21 return, but they left the data field blank for the recovery rebate credit. So if that was you, or if you filled it out with $0 in there and you were actually eligible for that credit, then you will be getting a check.
Well, this is why they tell you to keep your tax records, right? For several years. I mean,
it's interesting because we did get the rebate and they were calling it, as you'll remember, the stimulus. So Ethan was like, we should, spend this at local businesses. I frequent a couple of local coffee shops, like locally owned and operated. So we did all that instead of saving it. And by nature, we're both savers. And then we had to pay it back. Do you remember this?
No, I don't even remember getting anything, but a lot of times
so much money. We got $5,000 or something. It was crazy.
Oh, my word.
I know. We were like, what?
Wow.
Because we had kids, you got checks for the kids too. But what was wild is everything within us would say, save the money.
Yeah.
But we knew that people were struggling. You remember small businesses, right? I mean, all businesses, how bad they were struggling. Oh. So we went and spent it. I still have gift cards, that I'm using to this day. Anyway,
Well,
By golly.
so many
So,
businesses. I just heard that Tropical Liqueurs is closing because they never recovered from the COVID impact. And so
mm,
that's like, I mean, it's a bar downtown, but that's still sad because they never recovered from COVID. So,
right. Yeah, it's unfortunate. And I'm just saying, word of the wise, you might be getting that new check in the mail, but you're going to want to check it out before you go.
yeah. Yeah. Well, what a blessing. A new cool tool is coming to Springfield Public Schools. Parents who, if your kid rides the bus, listen into this. The district is launching a new app that will track your kid's school bus in real time. This is so awesome, especially as a mom who doesn't have a kid who has a phone who rides the bus. This is cool. No more worrying about when the bus will arrive. Maybe save some time from standing out in the cold, which I don't do. Fend for yourself, kid. But students can scan their student ID when they get on and off the bus. Even the younger ones will get an individual's card to scan, and the system's being tested right now at Parkview, Pershing, Sherwood, and Field. So hopefully the test goes well, and then they'll launch this at several other school sites. I'm sure.
So Diana, you don't actually have to buy your son a phone. You just have to track the bus and say, okay, Drew, it's time to go out.
Yeah.
There you go. It's going to save him too from standing in the 2-degree wind chill weather or whatever it was.
Which kind of makes you nervous as a parent sometimes, because you're like, okay, you have 1 minute to get from our house to your stop. So are you going to run, or are you going to go brush your teeth really quick before you go get
right? Yes.
Please do both. So there's that.
Oh, that's funny. Okay. Yeah, that'll be coming soon. That's exciting. A couple in Ozark is about to open a national chain, which is a pet supply store. You know how much money people spend on their pets. It is called Earthwise, and it's the first of its kind in our area. But again, it is a chain. They're opening next month in the Strip Center right by the Ozark Walmart. The owner says they have pet nutrition products, snacks, toys for the dogs and cats. They also have space inside for grooming and self-serve dog washing.
That sounds fun.
I know.
From dog nutrition to human nutrition, the FDA is proposing nutrition information labels to be placed on the front of packaged foods. This is in addition to the label already on the back. It'll include sodium amounts, added sugar, and saturated fat, plus the levels of nutrients. If approved, the food companies will have 3 years to comply. And this is very interesting. So I traveled abroad and I was in Argentina, and in their supermarkets, they have the packaging on the front that says, obviously it's in Spanish, but it's like extra sugar, extra sodium, it says it in plain sight, and it's like a stop sign kind of thing. It's fascinating. So kids, even if they can't read, they can see this is not good for you. So
right.
I think that's
also
important.
Let me ask you this. Do they count? I have not been to Argentina. Do they count it as calories or energy?
I think there it was calories.
Okay. I notice in most parts of the world that I've been to, which is like a decent amount of places, but they count it in energy, not calories. Wow. I feel like Americans are very obsessed with calorie intake. Right. But other countries struggle in different ways than we do. And that is not one of them, but they call it energy, which is just an interesting shift in your thinking.
Yeah. No,
when you're thinking of food as fuel.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's January. It's a good time to be mindful about that. Think of
so foods. 2 days ago, by the way, on that topic was Quitter's Day.
Quitter's Day?
Quitter's Day, which is the day that most people fall off their resolution.
Oh, that's terrible.
Get back on the wagon, everybody.
Yeah.
Get back.
Hop on. Whole foods and exercise. Yeah. Move your body.
Okay. If you want to hang out at Starbucks, you're going to have to buy something inside the store. The chain used to have what was called an open door policy, which would mean that you could come in, congregate, use the bathroom, sit at the table without actually purchasing anything, but gone are the days. They are trying to prioritize paying customers. So they're reversing course. To be honest with you, I think it's really a problem in bigger cities where there's a lot of people congregating and perhaps none of them really purchasing anything. But nonetheless, it is going to be at every single Starbucks store, regardless of the size of town.
Well, Starbucks is pretty busy anyways. I feel like I don't know if there's a Starbucks I go to that's not busy, like in the morning or maybe afternoon before car line or something. It is a busy place. And so I'm sure the customers have maybe complained and said, look, there's people sitting, or I wonder maybe if some of the displaced people, like homeless people or
especially when it's freezing cold outside.
Right. And, part of me, my heart goes out to those people. They need a place too. But buy a coffee. Can you buy a coffee? I don't know.
Yeah.
Or get someone to buy you a coffee. I don't know.
I mean, they're training all their employees on like how to handle those situations. But they can call police. That is part of the deal if people don't comply. So we'll see how that goes.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Well,
all right. There you go, everybody. Happy Wednesday and happy Diana. Thank you for joining us so much.
You're welcome.
I so appreciate it.
Hump
as
day.
does Ethan.
Yeah. You bet.
Okay,
when does Ethan get back? Is he traveling? I mean, he's doing
the deal, he's traveling to and fro. And I do think that he'll be back today.
Okay.
So I'll try not to hit you up, but if something changes, we live by the seat of our pants.
I don't know how you do that, but
it's both personality and training for 20 years in my case, 30 years in his case of news. Yeah. You don't really make a plan because then something, blows up and you got to go. So we're okay with it. I'm not upset about it. But for people like you who need to make a plan, I don't know yet, but he should be back on tomorrow morning.
Okay. Well, safe travels.
I believe it. Okay, cool. Thank you.
You bet.
All right, everybody, have a happy Wednesday.
Bye.
It's time for Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather, sponsored by Command Family Medicine and John's Heating and Air. Here's your host, meteorologist Abby Dyer.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to your Wednesday. It's January 15th, 5 a.m. Thanks for starting off your new day with me. And we are talking about temperatures that are starting off pretty cold for you. Numbers in the upper teens and low 20s out the door. Yes, you need the winter gear again, but I've got good news for you today. Not only do we get the sunshine to return at midday, I also have temperatures that warm into the low 40s today. And that means that we are going to do some melting out there where the snowpack has been pretty stubborn. We're going to take care of a little bit of that today. And I'm expecting temperatures will be even warmer as we head into later parts of the week. Today, though, what you can expect for the middle of the week looks pretty nice. We've got some cloud cover out there this morning that will give way to sunshine. I'm thinking that happens by, you may see some peaks of sun by mid-morning. I'm expecting the full sun as we head through the afternoon hours. I expect also that temperatures make it to about 42. So things will be pretty comfortable. The winds are not too strong today. Overall, we are heading in the right direction. High pressure is still in control of our weather pattern. I have us staying rain and snow free through the course of this afternoon. We should also stay rain free on Thursday. Then I have some rain chances actually that return to the forecast as we head into Friday. Before that rain gets here though, how about mid-50s on Friday? Whole lot of melting is going to happen. The yards are going to start to get pretty soppy because the snowpack is melting. It's going to give way to mud in the yard. And then we're going to put some rain down on top of that. So rain expected in the forecast behind those nice warm temperatures, mid-50s, and then rain showers in the forecast late in the afternoon on Friday, lasting through Friday night. It's a good news. It's coming then, too, because temperatures will drop dramatically as we head into the weekend. I've been advertising this Arctic air returning to the Ozarks for a few days now, and indeed, it is set to make its way to us. Today, actually, one of the cooler days in the work week forecast. I've got numbers back into the mid-40s again on Thursday. Mostly sunny in the forecast again Thursday afternoon. High temperature 6 degrees. By Friday, I've got highs at 55. I do have a chance for rain, though, beginning especially east of Highway 65 as we head through the afternoon and evening hours as a frontal boundary pushes through the Ozarks. It's that cold front that's going to knock our temperatures down again just in time for the weekend. We've got numbers in the mid-30s on Saturday. Cold air continues to sink in, and highs on Sunday and Monday could potentially stay in the teens. It looks really cold, Arctic air in place as we head closer to the weekend and the early part of next week. So I guess enjoy the low 40s and the sunshine while we have it. Around the country, what's making headlines? Well, once again, it's those Santa Ana winds in Southern California, leading to high or even critical fire danger still in the southern part of that state. We are sure hoping they get some relief soon. Also, an Arctic blast is making a big chill for the eastern part of the country. We're going to get a taste of the Arctic weather ourselves over the weekend, as I mentioned. And finally, we have Lake Effect snow impacting portions of the Great Lakes. That's where the active winter weather is going on, but several things to monitor across the country in the coming days. All right, it's time for the Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather Brain Twister trivia question for the day. And the question that I left you with yesterday, it was this: true or false? January has the highest average snowfall of any month in the Northern Hemisphere. Do you think that is true or false? So not just for here in the Ozarks, but everywhere in the Northern Hemisphere. Which month do you think has the highest snowfall? Do you think it's January? True or false? Well, if you answered false, you would be correct. It's actually February that has the highest average snowfall for the entire Northern Hemisphere. But we'll have to see how things play out this season. It could potentially be the snowiest month for us, or we hope it was. As we head through the rest of the month of January, we could potentially see more of that wintry weather with the cold air that's going to be in place. We will see, I guess, what February has in store for us. All right, here's the brain twister trivia question that I'll leave you with for tomorrow. Which precious stone is associated with January? What do you think? Is sometimes called a birthstone as well. Which precious stone is associated with January? Do you think it is A, jasper, B, sapphire, C, garnet, or D, ruby? You can let me know your guess. That's at aroundtheozarks.com. Thanks so much to John's Heating and Air and Command Family Medicine for sponsoring Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather. And thank you for listening this morning. I sure hope if you enjoy the podcast, you will leave us a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. I'll see you right back here early tomorrow morning. Stay warm today. Enjoy the snow melting away from the driveway or the shadows, or just making it a little thinner in the yard. We'll get there as we thaw out for the rest of the workweek forecast. I'll be back to chat with you early tomorrow morning.